Hi, this is Sandy2, sorry, to Tech Modeler channel with Paul Inge, and I'm building the Corvette flower class ship from Revell, 1/72 scale, and this is a project build with Switcher, and he's already done his first video update on the build, and today I spent 2 hours in the morning doing some sanding because that seems to be our life in regards to this ship and this model. The model is really showing its age, obviously, and I think Switcher covered all the baselines when he talked about the vehicle, the actual ship. I keep saying vehicle, it's one of those things I'm not going to cut it out, I'll leave it in. Anyway, so, the decks have all now been sanded. They're not permanently in place, obviously, because I've got something, I've got to finish off doing the hull now. But it took a long time to do the sanding on the decks, and I used 120 grit, which is this stuff. I don't know if you can see that in there. Yeah, you can. 120 grit paper, quite hard, and it is actually a graphite paper, so it's quite good. It lasts a long time, and I actually done it in the tray I used for painting tracks and everything because the pieces fitted in there nicely and the dust settled nicely in the bottom. And it is a really dusty job when you're sanding these things. So thankfully I've done what I regard as the mulch of the main sanding in regards to the deck. I've cleaned inside all these little areas, you can see, even the bits that you won't see because they're actually covered up by the bridge and other buildings and the engine room, the house boilers and the stack. I actually done it all basically to get it right down, so if there was a chance of seeing anything, at least I knew it was going to be quite smooth. So there you go. Before I go any further, the thing I was going to do first was thank you, Steve Mottram, for sending me this lovely gift. And there it is. It's the World War I Mark IV from Corgi, and it's the 1940-1918 centenary model from them. I was going to take it out of the box, but I decided it looks quite nice in there, and I'm going to put it in my display cabinet that's behind me with my Mark IV when it comes back from the model shop, which we'll be changing over to Panther quite shortly. So anyway, so there you go. Thank you very much, Steve. A very nice gift, and I believe you sent something similar to Switcher. We don't know because he hasn't received it yet, but thank you very much indeed. A very nice gift. Right, back to this then. There we go. So, because here's a nice gift, and I must admit it's quite heavy because it's made of metal. Right, so I also did, other than the three pieces you can see, because that's two pieces, for the bow plate, the top deck, and the quarter. I believe this is a quarter deck, and this is the bridge structure. And I don't know where you're going to see that, but I've actually done exactly the same to that. I've took all the actual decking pattern of the actual plastic part all over, including this area here. And it was fiddly, but you can see a mould mark, and as Switcher said, there's a lot of mould marks, runs right across here. Now I've shaved it down a little bit with the old a grind tool, and I'm trying to find what I was using because it seems to me I've put it down, but I've got a scraper, and I really found it really handy. And I don't know whether I put it back up there, which I haven't. I must have left it downstairs somewhere, or it's hidden away underneath this. Let's have a look. Nope, it's not. So anyway, but I can show you next time. It's a scraper, double-ended, and basically I found that I was having problems on one end, but if I turned it round, it's a left and right tool. So depending on which end you was using it was used for the left or the right. So fantastic, it was great. So I can get really close to the edges and scrape all the bits away. So that's done. Also, these are the bits that go around the bridge decking. They're the wooden platforms. They've had wood all grains. I've left it on the actual sprue for this bit, and I've sanded that off smooth as well. So the good thing is any little light scratches in there, because there is a few light scratches because I couldn't sand anymore. My arm was just about getting to the point where it decided it wanted to have a break. But I know when I do Starnal Res primer coat, it will cover that up anyway beautifully, and you won't see anything because it is like Starnal Res is a bit of a good leveler as well. So really good. And I went in with my little mini drill, this one here, and just where I got the plastic bits in there, even that's got a little bit of residue left from sanding. So, but I just put drill in there and just turn it slowly just to release all the sanding agent that went into the actual plastic elements, so it went into these little holes. So they've all been cleared out again, so everything's nice and ready to go. So my next job will be to remove these decks, because as I said, they all come up, they're not there, and then I should be working, I'll probably go out in the garden to sand the hole. I've already filled in round the centre of the joint, which I was going to move it off here. There's no point because the switcher's done a fantastic job showing you what it is. But the seam down round underneath the middle is an unsightly joint, to be quite honest. And I've got it joined in and smooth. Now we know they're plates, so I'll be sanding a lot of these plates just to smooth them down a little bit, so they're still there, but they're not so proud. That's what I'm going to be doing. Switcher was gratefully sent me some bits through the post, and he mentioned the anchorage at the top. I can't remember the name he called it, but basically hauser, I think it is. Basically it goes down. No, that's the rope. But anyway, basically these two tubes here go down to anchors. They are actually metal tubes where the actual anchor would slide down through. The anchor chain would slide through and drop into the sea. So, and he's gave us lovely tubes, and like he said, it's nice and soft and pliable, so we will be able to put that in, and that would have to be put in first, and then I'll be permanently putting the bow section in permanently from when I finish this build, because basically that would be the first bit I stick in, and that will be there left permanently to make sure it stays there in place, and then after that, then I'll work my way down the ship. As you know, Switcher's doing lighting. I'm not going that way. I'm just going to leave mine unlit. I'm leave with a light that's in the room, as it were. But I'm not going to do that. I was going to light, and I thought, no, I don't really want to. I've just decided to go this way. Now, Switcher's building other components, and I've got to be honest, once I've got the whole done, I will start building up certain subsections. I've even cleaned underneath there, and you're not going to see any of it, but I thought myself, if you're going to do it, you might as well do the whole thing. And to be honest, I think the ship's coming along quite nicely. It's quite long, like as Switcher said, and if I get my tape measure out, I'll be able to measure from front to stern to bow, or bow to stern, depending on which you want me to say it. And there you go, and it goes to 34 inches. So it's 34 inches. I'll say 35 to cut it short, but 35 inches. More or less across, and going across the ship, 35, say 35 along across. It's definitely 34. I don't know why. 34 and a half, I'm going to say, because it's slightly. That's giving it a slight edge. And on the widest point across the vessel, it is 5. Just because that's going to be pulled in slightly. 5.5 inches, just over 5.5 inches, not much, but you can see it's a massive model, really, considering a lot of plastic involved. Switcher had to square off his stern. I didn't have to do mine because mine is basically a Royal HMS Compass Rose. I'm having issues with Compass Rose. I want to build the ship, but the one in the film in 52 has a lot of modified parts on it that weren't there during the war. So what I've got to really do is keep it as near to the Compass Rose that's in the film, but take all the details from another vessel. Still not sure which vessel it'll be, but I'm okay at the moment because I'm only building this bit now. So, but I've got to make a decision soon, because as Rich Switcher said, once you start getting into it, you really need to stick with the plan, and that's what I'm going to have to do. The sad bit about it is, whenever you look at a photograph, and I know Switcher said this, is you look at a photograph and you think to yourself, God. Every ship's slightly different, and even if they followed each other out of the shipyard, there's differences. So that is the issue. We both know that the portholes, I'm missing one porthole, I know that, and I was going to go and actually start drilling out a hole and doing one again, but the point is though, I don't think, because the others are slightly out of line, unless you actually go through along and seal them all in and cover them up, sand them, and then start re-drilling new portholes, that's the only way around it. And I'm not so sure I want to go that far, and because there'd be even more sanding, as we call it, to do. So I'm going to consider that, but I don't think I'm going to go that way. I've got to be honest. I think I'm stay with what we've got with the ship. It's still going to look like a Corvette. That's the main thing, and that's what we're aiming to do. As I said. They're nice and smooth now, lovely. Like I said, I used that 120 grit paper, plus I used some trusty sanding sticks, are quite coarse ones. These are the UMP ones, nice ones. They're flexible. I also used some squadron ones as well, because these ones, because it gave me a bit more pressure, being a little bit stiffer. So I used those as well. So I used a combination of sanding techniques to do this, and it has worked all the way. And my scraper, my trusty scraper as well. and I wish I could see that here because I could actually show it to you, but it's there. It's a metal object anyway, I know that, and it's like a chisel really at both ends. Fantastic little tool, and it really did come in handy. I even when I got bits where I couldn't get around these little grooves, it took them away very nicely, and then I sanded again over the top, and as you can see I kept all the boxes in the right places. I lost some of this. I wasn't worried about it. There's a little sort of faint, you can still see a faint circle there, but I can deal with that when I come to it. Now, the reason we're doing all the sanding is obviously we said because the decks weren't actually decked, they were decked in certain areas. The bridge was definitely one of them, and obviously a part of the bow, and definitely part of the stern, and that was it. The rest of it was a non-slip surface for the crew. And so anyway, so I think that's it. Now what I can do, Tony, another thing, a little bit of an update, channel update at the same time, is I've sent for some paints, and the first set's coming. It's the L502 oils, and there we go, 502 oils, and I think we can also say we can blame Switcher for this, because he used oils quite a few times in the videos he's been showing, and the more and more I looked at it, the more I wanted to have a go. So I went and done a search as well for oils, and I was going to go to my local one of my local shops to get some oil paints, and I thought to myself, really, do I know which ones to get? I mean, I could have asked Switcher to give me a list of the decent oils, but I thought to myself, if I can give him sets to deal with certain elements, I can always mix and match my paints later. So I've got 3 sets coming. This is the vehicle weathering effects set, and in this we've got the colours are Snow White, she's not in the box. I've got to be honest. No, I looked in there. No, I didn't really. But she's not in the box. It's a colour, obviously. And we've got brown wash, earth, light mud, dark mud, and engine grease. That's the colour in that. Then I've got another tank set coming, which will be handy. And I can't remember the name, but obviously I'll show it when it comes. And also one set that actually deals with grey ships. So for effects of weathering on the actual, and he said vehicle again, on the actual ship and the bow and the areas of the ship, to give it a bit of weathering, which I'm planning to do. So this would be my first attempt at using oils, obviously either on the ship or the mouse I should say, the mouse, well it could be a mouse that I'm building for the Steve Mottram's M build, it's being M for mouse, so that's why I went for it. I'm just waiting for the bits to come of that. That will be a project that I'm going to take on. Switcher's going to, when we get to a point where we think we need a rest, he's going to switch over to completing his diorama, and also going over to finishing his T90 tank. So basically we've both got projects to do within the project, if that makes sense. So I'm looking forward to doing the mouse, but I am enjoying this. It's tedious work at the moment, and I think the tediousness is not going to go away. And because it's such an old kit, but looking at it like this now and seeing the decks I've done, I think myself it's worth it, and that's what the object of the game is. And as Switcher said, it's nice to have someone to do the build with, because if you've got both building it, you're actually giving each other the energy and the kudos to actually get on with the job and do it. And I just watched Switcher and he was doing other bits in front of me, and I thought to myself I should be going to that, but I had to stop myself because I thought, now, because we both build slightly different, and I just wanted, I thought if I can get the whole completed done, then whenever I start on the superstructure, that's another little hobbies in the boat. So everything, a bit like the actual wheelhouse and the bridge, will be all modules within the ship. So the good thing is I can actually modulise the build. But to me, this is the first module of the build doing this. So that's why I'm trying to do me bits and pieces as well. I normally only do about 2 hours modelling a day, and normally it's between 5 and 7 in the evening. But of course, if the weather turns nasty, I get enough opportunities. Like this morning we didn't go out because it weren't looking for nice, and that's why I got downstairs. I went downstairs on the old dining room table, put me a little plastic window box plant holder, which I haven't got in the room with me. I think you've seen it before anyway. And I just sanded in there. Most of the sand mess goes into that thing, into the actual tray then, rather than anywhere else. You still get dust everywhere, I've got to be honest, so I did clean up afterwards, obviously, otherwise I'd have been in trouble. So that's what I've done. So that's as far as I've got so far. Oh yeah, I might as well put it. Oh yeah, the ship's finished now. Look, I've got my funnel on it. Oh, it was a bad joke, that one. So anyway, so thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. And happy modelling, as someone else says, I believe. Thank you. See ya.